Hey everybody, Tennessee Fats here. I am driving down the 407, and the reason why I'm driving down the 407 and I'm recording this intro here is because I had a positive turn of events today. I was in the office this morning and something came up and I had to drive out to a rural area that's within about 2 hours of my office to take a look at something. Well, since I'm going to be there anyways, what this gives me the opportunity to do is actually drop by one of my favorite shops to stop in when I'm in the area, and that's Big B Barrie. Now I'll tell you, I have been to all three of the Big B locations. There's one in Barrie, one in Niagara Falls, and one in the Hammer. That's Hamilton for you non-Torontonians. And I'll tell you, of the three, Barrie, bar none, is the best location. Now, I haven't done price comparisons, taking a single book and comparing between the three shops. I don't even know what the loose affiliation is. They all share the same name, but they seem to behave completely differently. But I do enjoy that Barrie location. And it's fortunate because I'll tell you, one of the few times that I was ever on social media, because I'm probably on there maybe once a month and I just scroll through my Instagram for about 2 minutes, was this last weekend. And I saw that Big B Barrie posted recent inventory that they're adding in. And the funny part about this is, on the third page of their inventory that they were adding on, there were a couple books that are actually on my to-buy list. Now I'll tell you, I come up with a to-buy list probably once every 2, maybe 3 years. And I take them fairly seriously. What they are is they're a list of not only what to buy when you're out there looking around, but they're also the ignore list, because everything that's not on the list gets what? It gets ignored. That's the best way to avoid ending up with 16 long boxes of books that are just useless to you. Impulse buying can be very dangerous for a comic collector. Don't ever fall in that rabbit hole. Stick with what you know. If you want the bang for the buck, which is having a collection you're proud of, and that's got a nice amount of robust books in it, just stick with what you're after. Buying everything, what are you going to do with them? Simplify, people. Simplify. Anyways, all that aside, that's where we're going today. I'm not going to bore you guys with the rest of the drive up because it's like an hour and a bit drive. It's a long haul. I got to go do the inspection thing first anyways. But once we're done all this, we'll come back and I'll bore you guys with a haul instead. Anyways, hope you enjoy this one, everybody. Alright, so we're back in the barn. We got a fancy new outfit on. Obviously time has passed because I'm not wearing the same outfit. I finished the Big B Barrie haul, and we're going to go through that here. And it's all modern. Caveat. What I find interesting about this particular haul is the amount of things they had that were actually on my list. I went out with my list, and they had everything, which is very cool. Yeah, let's go take a look. Alright, so let's just jump right into this here. Now, I already warned you guys, this entire collection that we've got here is all modern. And these were all things that were on my list, which I'm really happy about. I think this is going to be a good haul, and I think you'll enjoy it. First one that's up here, and this is going to set the theme for today, is Marvel Comics #1. Now, this is Marvel Comics Presents. Not a particularly important key by any means. In fact, it's not a key at all. What this is one that's the beginning of that whole Marvel Comics Presents run. This is an early Wolverine book, though, and really what I've decided to do in this current list that I've come up with is really focus on, I'm going to call it Wolverine. Let's just go with that. I'm going to focus on him. The reason why I'm focusing on him is for some reason that seems to be the book that I think right now, and the character that I think right now is the one to buy up. I'm not saying it's a huge opportunity. I'm not saying there's going to be a whole lot more Wolverine movies or TV shows or anything of the sort. But I think there's something to this. So there's the first one right there. Wolverine #1. Now, Marvel Comics Presents #1. This one has a fair amount of spine roll over the side, but this was cheap. This was a couple bucks. This is still a book you can get for a couple bucks. So if you see it, I would advise you to pick it up. Good condition, no dings on it. And what I did with these, you see I did all these. And see how extra thick that board is in the back there? I like the bags that Big B Barrie uses. A lot of them are mylights, which I really appreciate because I like to get things in mylights. That is not cheap by any means for a store to do, but I appreciate it. So when I see this, that's cool, but the only, I guess if I was to make a critique, they only put one board in the back of these. So I always say putting one board in the back of one of these things, especially they do what I do, they use silver bags for modern books. You're just writing yourself up for a recipe for disaster right there. I don't see that working out all that well. Anyway, so that's why I fill these up with extra boards. Right, that's that first one there. Now, okay, so this is that Wolverine book over there was the kicker here. It's going to show you guys the theme for what we went for here. And this is part of the list that we're going for. So, right off the bat, Wolverine from the ongoing series, #1. Is it an important book? Again, I'm coming back to this and I'm saying it's not particularly an important book. It's not a key. Nothing in particular happens in this, but it's an early Wolverine book. And this was in great condition. This one they had up on the wall. So I picked it up. I'm quite happy with that. That's a nice find. What I do also enjoy with these Wolverine books, these early ones, is they always had pin-up posters on the backs of the books. And it's interesting, as I was reboarding these, because I was adding extra onto the bag, what I found was a whole bunch of them. I completely forgot they had that. Some of these, as you see, I've got the regular boards there. Obviously, it's 3 thick by the time I'm done with it, because I want it to be safe. But for the ones that I did want to see, I'm going to show you what I did with those later. All right, that was #1. Continuing on the run. There's #2. This was a couple bucks. Not a bad book to pick up for a couple bucks. And it's in great condition. Again, I advise everybody to pick that book up if you have the chance. Coming back to this one. I remember reading this series when it first came out. I remember buying these literally in Northern Ontario because I was up at a cottage for the summer and I was picking these up off the rack. So I'm just trying to think here. I believe I was there in the late summer. So these were old by the time I was there. These were 6 months old by the time I got up there. Either way, they were still sitting on the rack. I picked them up. Interesting that this was the Wolverine edition or rendition that seemed to increase in popularity with this crazy outfit on. Was he called Patch in this? No, I don't think he was. Was he called Patch? I don't remember. But I just find that funny and that I can remember all the way back then. And obviously it's drawing into a lot of the Wolverine Japanese mythos because that was what was sexy at the time and that's what they were trying to draw in. So here's #3. Yet another book. A couple bucks. I picked it up. Not bad. Now, here's #4 of the series. Again, we're continuing along with Wolverine. You're saying, Tennessee Fats, how many Wolverines did you buy? I'll tell you. I bought a lot of Wolverines. Again, continuing on the story. This one, however, look, do you see any whiteboard behind it? You don't. What you see is... Da, 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 da. Now you can see the tape on there. I apologize for that. But that's the Slab Pro clear board. That's the Silver Age side. Fits inside the Mylite. Holds it there. That is a great Barrie Smith sketch. I love it. So that one I put out there so I can see it whenever I want. Continuing along, #5. It's funny. These guys, they're screwed. They're totally dead. He's going to totally murderize them. But another one. This one, again, not a great piece of art on the back, but it's one by an artist that I don't normally see doing Wolverine. So I was like, I don't know much about this guy. And I don't think it's fantastic by any means, but I think it's good. But it's one that's just not the norm. So I put another Slab Pro clear board on the back of that to see that. Kind of a neat book. And you continue along, and there's #6. It just keeps going. There's more and more. Again, all these were the same price. He was called Patch at the time. There he is with that fake eye patch that he wore, which is why I called him Patch. Weird. But yeah, I'm going back 30 years of knowledge now. Whatever. Interesting. And it continues on. Now, this one I never had as a kid. Ever. And the reason why I didn't is because it had the Hulk in it. And quite frankly, but everybody was buying up Hulk books. They were buying up Grey Hulk crossovers at the time. You couldn't get your hands on these. Here I am 30 years later. I'm buying it for a couple bucks. Quite happy with that. Again, nice condition. Way to go. And then finally, I jumped over #8. I didn't have it, but there's #9. So, is it a huge important haul by any means? No. Is it important to me? Yes. Is it my spec play right now? Yes, actually it is my spec play right now. I think Wolverine is one of the things that you should be picking up if you have the chance. Anyways, there's a Wolverine run. Now, did I buy only Wolverine? No, I did not. Other things that are on my list. Okay, here's another one that's on my list right now. Deathlock. I have a lot of the 90s books about this character, which was the remake. It was Michael Collins' Deathlock. This is the original Deathlock. These are pretty cheap right now. You can still pick them up. These are the first, I think, the first 4 appearances of Deathlock is in the Astonishing Tales series. There are ones to pick up. This one is not in great condition, but guess what? I spent $5 on it. Whatever. I'll take it. That's one on my list. It's just one more copy. All right, now this, again, a lot of people are going to look at this and say, what the heck, Tennessee Fats? What do you think of this? Okay, this is in crappy condition. I'm starting off right there. It's got watermarks over here. You can see the waffling in the book right here. It's a ripple. It's got a whole lot of spine text, spine roll. It's issue 150. Now, I'm not normally a Spider-Man hoarder. I don't pick this up. I have 3 books right now that are on my list that are Spider-Man books. This also has oil stains all over the bottom, which is just gross. Anyways, this was $2. Yeah, $2. At the end of the day, I'm probably not ever going to be liquidate this book, but I got this because issue number, let me see, 149, 150, and 151 are on my list. Anyone wants to know why those are on my list and what I'm thinking on this, go check out and look up those issues. something very particular happens in those issues, those 3 right there, which I think right now is kind of an undervalued thing that people are looking at. Given the way things are going, I think it's going to become more important. I'm picking those 3 issues up. If you do, well, go for it. Thank me for it later if it actually works out. And if it doesn't work out, well, listen, you did it on your own. All right, the last 2 here. Okay. I have a thing for Valiant Comics, the same as I have a thing for the Death of Superman. But these are not purchased because they're, it's Valiant Comics, so I buy everything Valiant. I don't buy everything Valiant. I do buy the old ones, though, when they're on my list. Okay. Magnus Robot Fighter number 12. What is important about this book? In the grand scheme of things, there's nothing important about this book. Absolutely nothing. What in a minor way is important about this book is you see this guy up here. Turok the Dinosaur Hunter, which came into fame in the 1960s through Dell Comics. This was the first Valiant reintroduction of that character. That means something, because that character then went on with Valiant Comics to make tons and tons and tons of issues. They made a video game about him, they did all sorts of stuff. And Dynamite has picked up the license on that. They put out a whole bunch of series. I don't even know if they still have the license for that. But I'm thinking, when you go back in time and you look and you say, hey, what's relatively cheap now that will be going up at a exponential level in the medium to long term? I would argue these Valiant ones from the 90s are going to be ones that should be getting bought. This is number 12. I have many issues of the Magnus Robot Fighter series. This is the first copy of number 12 I've ever found, actually. Just weird. This was the one hole in that run, and there you go. It's now done. Which is nice. Last one we got here. This is a very important one. Okay. Magnus Robot Fighter number 5. Again, Magnus Robot Fighter. Okay, yeah, well, it's Magnus Robot Fighter. Yeah. And I already have copies of this. But again, what do you see over here? Flip this book over for Rye number 1. Do you see a hard backer board back here? No, you do not. So what's on the back? Ho-ho, there it is. Rye number 1. First appearance of Rye, the first original Valiant character. And there's my clear Slab Pro board on there. This is in a nice Myolite. It's Silver Age. It'll hold it pretty tight. You know, I'm thinking to myself, over time, what I might want to do, if it weren't so darned expensive, because I can tell you, throwing $180 on this one board to go with this one book, just for vanity, is pretty silly. But to tighten that up, you could put 2 of those clear backer boards in there. It's an idea. This one's also in great condition, except for this little impact dent right over here in the corner. See that there? Yeah. Other than that, this is in great condition. Relatively cheap. I'm happy with this one. It's another one that's going into the collection as, I think, I'm going to say 4th or 5th copy of this book. A good one to pick up. You have the chance, everybody. This guy right here, Rye. That's very important. Very important book for anybody who's sitting there saying, I want to pick up a nice Valiant run. So that's the haul. As I say, it's all modern, and it was all relatively cheap. Like those Wolverines I'm pointing out over there. Those were really cheap. A couple of them were $2. Majority of them were $5, actually, now that I think about it. But a couple of them were $2, except for number 1, which was the most expensive of the run. That was a great way to pick up issues 1 through 7, and then again, I missed number 8, but then number 9. That's not bad at all. And those Valiant books, those entirely make it worthwhile. Now, the lower grade Bronze Age issues, well, you know, they ain't great. But at the end of the day, I think these are important. This one here, in particular. And this guy, just because I'm thinking this Deathlock character, this is going to become more important over the next 10 years. Not a short-term play, but a long-term one. Anyways, there you go. So that's the modern run that I picked up. Well, you know what? I still classify Copper as modern. You know what? It shows how old I am. Because to me, those Copper Age issues were the ones that you were picking up for $2 or $3 sitting in the bins when I was a kid. It's interesting that now those are the ones that you have to spend like $10 to $20 to pick up. Huh. Maybe I shouldn't have been buying new comics when I was buying new comics. Okay, word to the wise for anybody who's out there thinking about getting into buying comic books. Stand on the shoulders of giants and don't reinvent the wheel. So there's 2 idioms there I just used. Go waste your money on older books. Because if they're already old now, you're just giving yourself a 10-year bump 20 years from now in age. Think your way through that. Anyways, that's the relatively modern, well, mostly modern haul. With, as I say, the 2 Copper Age books. I'm still going to call them modern. As you're getting more and more of a glance here of what's in my shopping list right now. And what am I speculating on? Not a lot, but I am speculating on some things. Well, I hope you enjoyed that one, everybody. As always, all the links are going to pop up here for the subscribing and the liking and all that sort of stuff. Now, I'm going to let you go because I'm going to go watch Ishtar.